Ever since we launched Baltimore Real Producers back in 2017, our core realtor members have been only those that rank in the top 500 in Central Maryland. So what exactly does that mean? How are these numbers derived? What's the criteria? What deals are and aren't included in the reports? The purpose of this video is to provide clarity and answer all of those questions. This information also pertains to how the data in our standings is calculated, which is a section of our magazine that displays which agents are ranked year to date. And right now we display two lists in every issue, the top 150 in units and the top 150 in volume. In this video, I'm here with Peter Boscas, who pulls our data every month and will explain the ins and outs of how this all works.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. So basically, we're going to cover the two main aspects of the ranking reports that we have the most questions about. And the first is, how do the rankings get tabulated? And the second is why you may see some discrepancy between what you think your numbers should be and the actual published numbers. The transaction calculation is based on a three-step process. The first step is creating a list of all the real estate brokerages in the covered counties. For the Baltimore Metro publication, we're focusing on Baltimore City and Baltimore, Anne Arundel, Carroll, Howard, and Harford counties. The transactions we use for calculations are residential sales only, so commercial or farms are not included. And each transaction is broken into two sides, listing and buying. And then on each one of those sides, there are two slots for a total of 4 slots, which covers a listing agent, a co-listing agent, buyer's agent, and co-buyer's agent. Each side of the transaction is awarded a point. So if there's only one agent on the listing side of the transaction, that agent will receive a full point and the full volume for that transaction. But if there's also a co-listing agent, each of those listing agents will receive a half point and half of the transaction volume. As for the main issues or questions that we receive from agents who believe their numbers aren't accurately being reflected in their production, they usually fall into one of 3 categories. First is, most agents are not accounting for the split sales and volume they're being credited for if there's a co-listing or co-selling agent on their transaction. So if an agent closes 10 listing transactions but has a co-listing agent on those transactions, they'll only receive credit for 5 points as opposed to 10. And they'll also get the volume for basically 5 transactions instead of 10 because the other agent, the co-listing agent, is also receiving 5 points and half of the volume. Secondly is the location of your brokerage. So if you're an agent who works in Anne Arundel County but your brokerage is based out of Montgomery County, you're not going to get credit as an agent for this region. The location is also verified on a monthly basis. So for instance, if an agent's not affiliated with a brokerage in one of the publication's regions in the month of January, any sales they record in that month will not count towards their ranking. Transactions that have placeholder agents in the MLS are not included in rankings, and that decision was made to prevent agents from adding fake or misleading transactions to the MLS to bump up their rankings or their production numbers. And finally, always remember the saying that garbage in, garbage out. A lot of agents make mistakes when entering information in the MLS, and you may have been the buyer's agent on a $1 million transaction, but if the listing agent forgot a 0, you're only going to get credit for $100,000. So it pays to be diligent and make sure your transactions are accurately being recorded. And that's beneficial to you, also to the MLS, and ultimately our clients.
Thank you so much, Peter.
Sure.
Hopefully that provides some clarity for you all. And we are actually putting together a more detailed FAQ in writing that will be posted in our Facebook group, also on a landing page, in a lot of different places. So if you have any further questions, be sure to check that out. And we will see you around soon. Hold on.